Hi.
Hi.
Hello, brothers, sisters, pagans, Christians, all of you fine people. Welcome back. Episode 4, baby.
Yes, thanks for sticking around.
I have a hair on my finger.
That's perfect.
It's a depiction of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is. So, how have you been, bro?
I feel like shit, honestly. I feel like that's the best way to start off. I'm not very feeling... I can't speak, for one thing, so that helps. And my voice is kind of faltering a bit, and I'm all stuffed up in coffee and the nice, fun, usual stuff that comes along with the good old common cold. So much fun. And, maybe people are going to be like, well, you got motherfucking COVID, you should go get tested, but... I don't have COVID, I hope. Anyways, we'll find out. We'll see.
We'll see.
But, yeah, we'll go with it. Anyways, aside from that, though, not really anything has happened, truthfully. It's been quite a nice, lazy week.
Nice. Stimulus check just dropped.
Oh, yeah, I did get my stimulus, so that was some exciting news.
You did?
I did, yeah,
Nice,
finally.
nice.
Yeah, and I got my taxes filed finally.
I still have to get mine filed.
Yeah.
I got stocks I need to file, I guess, so... Gonna do that. Hopefully I don't wait till last minute like most people.
Well, either way though, as long as you get them done, that's all that matters. And speaking of stocks, I just want to throw out there, and it doesn't even matter, but I'm personally excited that I made $24 in dividends this year on my stocks. A little extra with certain other sells that I've made, but just in the dividend sections alone, I made $20, and that excited me. So that was cool. But
stock king compared to me, I know nothing. I have like one major stock, and that is a Microsoft stock.
Hey, everybody starts somewhere, and even me.
I mean, yeah, but I've been started for like a year, and that's like the only thing I had to show for it.
Yeah,
although it is a big stock, and working where I work, it's hard to come by to get a stock like that. I mean, it's nothing compared to Tesla though.
Oh God, yeah, dude, I wish I didn't sell my Tesla stock. That was so stupid of me. But that's just to point out, like, I'm nowhere near an experienced stock trader in any way. I'd like to get to that point at some point in time, but everybody's got to start somewhere, and everybody makes mistakes, and that was one of my stupid fucking mistakes, was getting rid of my Tesla stock. I definitely should have kept that, but it was, a learning point, so.
I've gotten rid of stocks mostly because, like, I'm really bad with money, so.
I get that.
I'll, spend most of my paycheck before my bi-weekly paycheck comes up. And I'll have to just go in there, try to find like the lowest stocks that have made money, but also like made a decent amount. Like if the stock made like $10, I take that out rather than the stock that's only made like 0.23 cents. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because why even bother? I should just sell them just to get the fucking pennies back. They're not going anywhere.
I get it, man. But see, that's how I look at it, is like I started with Ford, which is, a decent, it's a cheap stock. Typically it's around $9. Right now it's up to like $12, $13. It's pretty high actually for the Ford that it's averagely at.
I wish I would have bought like a fuck ton of them at the beginning of the pandemic.
Me too, to be honest, and I did get quite a bit, and when it dipped down I got some $3, $5, up into like $8, so I was happy because it went up. When it started going up at the beginning of this slight increase, I sold out at $11.50 because that was like $1.50 to $2.50 higher than what I was typically buying it as. I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a couple $100 profit, and I was gonna wait for it to go back down, but they're fucking trudging ahead right now. They're still going, so I just took like all of my money, because like I said, I had been putting into Ford for quite a while. I had 100 shares that I built up over time. It took me 2 years pretty much to get to the point of having that much, and investing elsewhere as well, but that was my biggest stock. And so then I realized, I was like, well, fuck it. Now that I sold this off and it's not going down anytime soon, why not just invest this into some bigger companies? So I got back into some bigger ones that I've been wanting to get back into. And McDonald's again, and certain other.
How much is McDonald's going for now?
Like $215.
Really?
Yeah, which I only got one stock, but with the amount that I got from that big sell, I could put it into other things. So that's like, I guess, my beginner model, in a sense, with my rough idea of what I have with trading is like just buy, into something that you can afford, and really, especially companies you can believe in, and get to the point where you have a big amount of that, sell off, and then get into other bigger companies. That's personally how I've gone about it. Which Ford is obviously a nice, reliable company. They've been around for over 100 years.
Yeah.
Handing it down from generation to generation. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon, and at the price that they're at, it's a really good deal to get into.
Yeah.
Now, what I do regret is that I was funneling all that money into Ford instead of funneling all that money into GameStop, because if I would have had 100 shares with GameStop, then I would have like $60,000 or something like that, maybe
Yeah.
upwards of that, but I don't know.
Reddit.
You know,
Reddit.
Reddit.
You have to let us know next time.
please, yes.
Please.
Directly DM both of us and tell
Mhm.
us exactly what's going on before it happens.
Say, we're not saying to do it. We completely take ourselves off that idea.
Yeah.
But if the idea comes in a secret manner like the GameStop one did, is this insider trading? Should I be telling them to tell us?
No, yeah, I think it is inside. I think it's collusion.
Alex got the
Yeah.
second
Yeah, we're not experienced users, so I don't think it really
No.
matters that much. But
Okay, don't message us.
Yeah, yeah, don't message us. Yeah.
Wink.
Wink, wink. Yeah,
But,
yeah, please do. No.
But
yeah, so that's a quick little rundown of some
Mhm.
interesting stock thoughts. Again, we're nowhere near being actual investors. Like
yeah.
I wish I could say I made $1,000 off my dividends this year, but in time, hopefully. we'll
If
see.
you want stocks to be something that's brought up reoccurringly, let us know. Like, it'd be pretty cool.
Mhm.
I mean, like you said, we don't know much about it, but if you just want someone to bullshit like real simple basics to you, like on the Robinhood app or the Cash app, like we're not sponsored by these, but we'll help you with them if you want us to.
Mhm.
Go through a couple of segments of explanation and shit.
Definitely, I think that financial literacy is something that should definitely be brought up a lot more in recent years.
Especially in schools.
Oh, definitely, especially
Like,
in
they don't
schools.
teach you enough about that. We had like one class that was dedicated to that, and all it was Ramsey talking about videos or talking about savings and shit.
Dave Ramsey's the man. I love Dave Ramsey's content. He's actually one of the top podcasters in the world. Dave
Really?
Ramsey, yeah. Oh, he's like right underneath Joe Rogan. Dave Ramsey's got wonderful advice, but he's also very, how would I say, to the max. He takes it to the max.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, like for what he's proposing, obviously that's the way to do it. I'm not the financial expert, he is, but I don't know. I take a lot of the teachings he's got and implement them and integrate them. I just don't go about it, as full scale as what he does.
I plan on start with the stimulus. I'm gonna take out cash and put aside money so I can start savings. I want to have that $500 emergency fund to have, and I just want to open my savings and start putting deposits in there for my direct deposit at work, and that way it just slowly builds up.
Definitely.
But I'm scared that I kind of want to tell them don't make an account I can necessarily switch over from the app. Like, don't let me transfer from the app, because I know I'll probably be transferring money every fucking week from it instead of learning how to save.
Yeah, it's understandable.
It needs to be an emergency one, and in general savings.
Yeah, because
I kind of want to open two for that reason. Have a general savings account and then one for emergency, so it doesn't affect my actual savings.
Which is essentially what I have. I've got my regular checking account, and then I got the app that I can switch back and forth between. But I got my checking account. I've got an intermediate account, which is kind of like where I'll put the money that I know is going to be going towards bills, like rent and stuff like that I'll be spending soon. And then I got my hard locked savings, which I don't have a shit ton in. Because it is quite hard to save, and I find myself, as you said, dipping into my savings more than I should.
Yeah.
Technically my savings, honestly, right now is my stocks. That's like for some reason I can hold on to that a lot more. I mean, I still have a little bit of my savings, but not as much as I have in my stocks right now.
I don't even have a fucking savings account, bro.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, hey, understandable. You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. So I plan on starting as soon as I can get my license renewed, because I got a call from the bank yesterday explaining that.
Okay.
And they were just like, yeah, you have to have a valid license. And it's like, well, I have an appointment set, so it's coming. But I just have to put that money aside so I don't spend it. And I also need to put enough money aside to where I can afford to get my license fixed and shit like that. Considering I turned 21 recently.
Yeah.
So I got to get a new license too.
Hey, bro, I'm almost there too. Getting close. Getting very close.
Very close.
I'm excited. I can't wait. But yeah, then it's gonna be the bitch of getting a new license and all that good stuff and everything. But we'll see how it goes when we get there. Not quite there yet.
Yeah, probably good.
Yeah. So yeah, we got some interesting things planned out for today besides our random bullshitting that we got going on.
One more thing I want to say on the random bullshitting. If you're looking for saving money, right? Now, say you're going out to eat, right? Or your parents ask, like this is for any younger people, like, you know, still living with their parents. If you're going out to eat, like to fast food, and your parents are like, hey, get me such and such, and I'll pay you back when I get there. Or if you go here, I'll pay you for the whole meal, just pick it up. When you get paid back with that cash, act like you already spent it and that cash is gone. Put it in your savings or in a safe, like, you know, an actual safe. Not a safe spot. I guess the safe spot would be a safe.
Yeah.
But put it away. Because it's like you would already have spent that money. So you can just put that away. That's how I saved up to get a different vehicle when mine broke down. So it's something small. It takes a while to build up, but it's worth it. It does build up.
Great idea.
I saved almost like $900 in that in under a year.
Damn, yeah, that's definitely a good idea. See, I do something similar. If I ever have like $1 bills in my wallet, I would instantly take those out and just put them off to the side.
Probably a good
Same with
idea,
fives
too.
most of the time. I don't always have cash. I use my card quite often, so
That's how I started doing that. I would take like 10 a week from my paycheck and put it in there directly as like my partial savings. But I would also like add to my savings like that method.
Which is smart, yeah. Yeah, so you're getting two reoccurring different payments into
Exactly.
it. Yeah, definitely smart.
Or open up a Christmas club account. I know that's like old school, but you can take it out early, but the process you have to go through to get it taken out is somewhat tedious. So it's more encouraging to make you keep it in there. And it's like if I just took out $50 from each of my bi-weekly paychecks, I saved over $1,000 in that.
Oh wow, yeah.
So
yeah, definitely save your money, everybody. I mean, that's terrible advice coming from me.
Yes,
I have a horrible spending addiction.
Take it from our experience.
Yeah.
Save your money, people.
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm good enough with my money. I can afford my rent and my bills and everything.
That's what's important. You're living. Like you have a roof. So.
Yeah, I get all the basics out of the way.
But getting the comforts and shit you want to get is...
It's bad. It's desirable. And yeah, I spend too much on books especially. That's one of my biggest things. And random shit, but...
I spend too much on vape juice and...
vape juice, yeah, I get that. Yeah,
Red Bulls.
Certain things. Red Bulls for sure, yeah. Bananas and flowers.
I have 2 more of these.
Damn. It's more than me. Let's drink 5 of them. We'll go for the 20. We'll hit the record for fucking Red Bulls. We'll see if we can get that. Our heart just bouncing out of our chest like that guy. Let's go for it. I'm down.
Dude, that was fucked when I saw that for the first time. It made me stop drinking Red Bull for like a solid 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days.
It didn't scare me that much.
Fuck it.
Yeah. I don't drink that much.
We'll go for the world record.
I did have like 2 or 3 of these in a day, along with like 2 other ones. And dude, I was on cloud 9 of fucking stress.
Oh damn, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's just like your body wants to do so much, but your mind just lags behind, so you're just like tense as fuck and on edge. But you're tired too, so it adds like a grouchy factor to it.
Exactly, that's kind of where I'm at today, because I drank literally the same exact can before you came over, because I'm like, you know, we're filming tonight, I want to, you know, at least get some caffeine buzz going on, but just like being as sick as I am, yeah, dude, it didn't do anything except like give me that like physical anxiety, that like that off sugar feeling, you know what I'm saying, like low blood sugar type feeling, and it really didn't do anything to fucking help me. It didn't really give me any energy or anything like that, and so now I'm just drinking on the old Arizona tea. Shout out Arizona.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully we can get sponsored. That'd be awesome.
Didn't they raise their price, or was that fake? Like,
honestly,
are they still 99 cents?
I didn't even pay attention.
No,
Not at all. I did not pay attention. And that shows how much of an autonomous robot I am when I go through my daily life.
Oh, me too. I just don't care about price for like Red Bulls. They could raise the price by like $2. I probably wouldn't notice.
Same.
Shit like that.
There's certain things, I'll definitely pay for it.
And excuse the voice crack, you probably just heard that.
And excuse my terrible, horrible stuffiness. I don't know if it sounds that bad, but...
I don't think it does, personally.
Oh, no.
Like, you can tell it's there, but it's not like, hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's not bad.
Maybe I'll just get deep today.
Corpse.
Yeah, I'll go for the corpse voice. Yeah, something like that.
But, so... interesting episode. As you can see in front of me, I have alcoholic prep pads, rubber gloves, I guess you could call it piercing lubrication, and posts. These aren't posts, these are tapers. Taper. I'm stretching my ears today, and I'm doing it on camera for you beautiful people to see.
Should be interesting, eh?
Yeah,
That'll be my first time seeing it as well.
interesting.
Yeah. I've never gone through this or seen it done before, really.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting for me, also.
Yeah, I've never done it myself before, so it's going to be really interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put these gloves on. I'm not a professional. Don't listen to me.
And don't do this at home, I guess. I don't know, is that good advice? Could you do it at home?
You could. Like, they sell these posts at fucking Hot Topic and shit like that.
Nice.
I got these from Spencer's, though. You can, they don't have their logo on it, shockingly.
See, I'm so ignorant of the process that I don't know, like, if this is something you could do at home. Like, I've literally never seen this done. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, most of the videos you find are people doing it themselves at home.
Oh, okay.
But thankfully, those people have been doing it for a while. They're the type of people that, gauge their ears, but then let them shrink and then they redo them. I don't know what the point of that is.
That's odd, yeah.
Maybe you're just looking for certain styles for certain sizes.
Just going for it, I guess, yeah.
This is weird though because now we don't know like how much time we're actually
cutting back in.
Yep. So we are cutting back in now.
Yeah.
Thanks, editor.
Yeah, thank you,
Zach. So I have the alcoholic pads, the gloves, the ear lubrication, and the tapers. I should not be doing this if I can't even remember the name of the shit.
Damn, no shit. Yeah, see, that's why I said don't do it at home. Just from how you say it, it sounds quite painful, but I mean, fuck it. Take risks, everybody.
I really hope these fit me. It's one size fits most. There'll be, barely. I'm gonna rip this fucker while I'm using it.
Oh shit. Good enough though. Hopefully it works.
I need extra large latex gloves.
Extra hard.
Extra hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
That would help.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This fucking dead air is awesome.
At least you look professional.
I don't. I really don't. Oh yeah, what? You saying because I have dreadlocks and piercings and tattoos?
That's exactly what
I should be doing these? I want to. I would love to be a piercer.
I'm absolutely calling you out. That would be cool.
I am nervous about this because I'm sure most people know how gauges work now, but goddamn it, this fucking thing.
I don't know how gauges work. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a simpleton.
So, I mean, I barely know how they work. Oh god, that's like. Okay, so I'll just take that out.
Oh, it looks like Payne's piercings in Naruto.
Oh yeah. So, this is 14 gauge. Yes, 14 gauge, not millimeter. I don't know if that's even close or extremely wrong.
I have no idea.
But this is a 14 gauge. It doesn't look that much bigger than the stud I have in. It's just like the regular piercing. Not sure if you guys can see it. But it's just like your regular stud piercing, just as a hoop. And that's, I think, a 20 gauge is about the thinnest you can get.
Okay.
So we're going sizing up to 14. I don't think there's a 16 for it. I don't know how piercings work, dude.
I was gonna say, I have no clue, to be honest.
either.
Like, even sizing wise, I have no fucking idea. I've thought about getting gauges before.
Yeah.
So it's interesting for me to see this up hand.
This would be
firsthand.
This would be definitely interesting. So I got the gloves on, and I got this shit from watching other YouTube videos. So this could be very painful. I might cry. I might cry.
I hope to hear whales.
Me too, a little bit. Or else, what's the point of this?
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess we're starting this.
See what you got, bro.
So you gotta undo this fucking earring.
I'm excited for you. Part of the reason why I'm so intimidated by piercings is because I hate needles so much. So, like, even base level piercings like scare me so much. It's such a gross process. It intrigues me. I find it very interesting, but I just personally don't think I could do it. It grosses me out so much. Holy shit! I feel like I'm gonna fucking pass out watching this.
Oh, you're good, bro. You're good. Clean it, sterilize it.
They're gonna be like, this kid's such a pussy.
This is gonna be interesting. I've been wanting to do gauges for quite a few months now. And doing this live and letting it out to the world is interesting as hell.
Definitely interesting.
Let's see. I don't know if we have to do this, but I'm gonna also wipe the needle with a little bit of alcohol in it.
You can never be too safe. Let's see how it goes.
Fucking scared.
You got this, Holmes.
This better earn me, or earn us a few subscriptions.
Yeah, I hope
This
so.
better.
Oh shit.
Oh wait, hold on.
Wait, what?
Nothing bad. Nothing
Oh,
bad.
okay, okay.
Nothing bad.
Uh-oh.
But-
Oh, the lube.
Yeah, the lube.
Oh shit, dude, I didn't even think about it. Ugh.
Sorry guys, I know that was very anticlimactic.
Yeah, kind of perfect though, really.
If you can't see this, my hand is shaking so bad right now. So you want to take a little bit of this lube, right? Kind of rub it on your fingers like this and apply it to the area. That way it'll make it quite a bit easier for it to go through and stretch.
Do you rub it on the piercing also?
No.
Okay.
It'll just be on there. I don't know how well this shit dries off. Might kind of want to switch gloves.
There you go.
It's gonna be the first time I'm switching gloves throughout this too.
And I'm not helping in any ways because I don't want to fuck him up. I would be the worst person to help.
It kind of reminds me of a certain YouTube channel that doesn't exist anymore when they actually pierced their ears.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No
but
shit.
they actually did it with needles instead of the guns.
Fuck that.
Oh dude, the guns are so bad for you.
Really? I've heard that actually. I seen something the other day because it like technically just forces through
Yeah.
instead of an actual needle that
It makes
pushes
the
the skin
split,
out.
yeah.
Yup.
Alright everybody, round 2 of this. This glove is not going on well because my hand is still sweaty. Lube is on, and here we go. Just gonna... Oh hell, that's not even that bad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's not even that bad.
See, I'm over here like working it up, thinking it's gonna be horrible and everything.
I kind of... I don't know if I should skip sizes, but it feels like it's already that size.
Huh.
Although the video I watched says do the small size and then in a week, right? Do the next one like...
Makes sense.
It's a little bit thicker.
Which a week's not bad either for sizing up.
No, it ain't.
Are you gonna size up every week, or are you gonna
No,
slow
it's
it
like
back?
go as much as your body is comfortable with, really. That's my main suggestion. But oh, and don't forget, use different alcohol pads. And I didn't get anything on this glove, like any oil, but if you get oil on your glove, change that out. But what was the question again? Sorry.
I don't even remember. Honestly, I'm moving right along.
Oh,
with
if
you.
I was going up every week.
Oh yeah.
No, only for the first like size. I'll probably go up next week and then I'll wait a month. You might get a second. I might do this every time. If whenever I up my gauge, you might get to see it.
Why not?
I need to get some posts though, because you're not supposed to keep these tapers in because they're just uncomfortable as fuck to sleep with. And they're not bad now, but when you get up to bigger sizes, probably around like that size, it'll weigh down your ear and it'll twist your earlobe up. It's not painful, but it's just like how they hang.
Okay.
But what you want to do is, if I had a post right here, you treat it like a tattooist or a piercer would their needle. They have the hollow needle, so they put that earring on the back, and then they just push it through, and then that post will be there instead of that. This is just to be used for a guide, really. All right.
Interesting. Yeah.
First one down.
Yeah, hell yeah, not going too bad so far, eh?
I already have an alcohol pad open.
Honestly, that's
I need to
awesome.
get this piercing out first.
I'm enjoying watching this, honestly. It makes me want to get a piercing, but I'm telling you, I'm bad with needles. When I got my stitches, I thought I was going to pass out.
Yeah.
The doctors were laughing at me. It's nervous for me. I was really bad before I started going to BioLife at one point in time when I was in college. It kind of helped me get over my fear of needles a little bit, but
Yeah.
I still have it. I've always thought about getting a piercing, but I don't know of any that would look good on me.
Comment section.
Hmm.
What piercing would look good on Vlad? Take your hood off.
Lord.
Take your hood off.
Okay, for just 5 seconds.
Yep, show your ears.
I've thought about like gauges, you know, I have thought of that. Small gauges.
You have the lobes for them.
Really?
Yeah, because if your lobes attach straight, like if you don't, my lobes aren't like the best for it because they kind of go straight into my ear.
Okay.
I might not be able to get the size I want before ripping it. So.
I didn't know that.
But you have better lobes because yours detach more.
Huh. I would have never thought of that actually.
Yeah.
And I thought about getting something on my nose too, but I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't look good on me personally. Maybe, we'll see.
Get a bone through it.
I definitely need tattoos first. Which should be coming soon, hopefully.
I have to get them on the same day.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I was gonna say actually that place has a good piercer, so I could too.
Which one? Infinity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever they get back with me. Hopefully soon.
Too much from now.
It's late soon. We'll plug it whenever I get my tats.
Oh yeah. Alright, so lubing up ear number 2, get the hair out of the way. It's kind of I kind of have some bedhead going on.
Same though. I like your headband too, that's cool.
Thank you. It's Celtic knots. I am in no way Norwegian, but I appreciate their culture.
I think I have Scandinavian blood in me.
Yeah.
So, I down you. You're part of the family.
Fuck yeah. Okay, gotta let my hand like not be sticky anymore so I can actually slide it in a fucking glove.
Understandable. Your hand's getting a little wet, the anxiety's kind of coming out a little bit.
I know it's more or less just the fucking latex on my skin.
Yeah, understandable.
Not allergic to it, god damn it. Fucking overheats your hand.
Are you allergic to anything?
Not that I know of. Not that I've found. Poison.
Poison, true.
Uranium.
Very true. Yeah, uranium.
That's about all I know of.
Hopefully we can come by some. Someday.
Yeah, someday. But, so, wanted to talk a little bit about the history of the body modification, right? And from the very extensive research I've done in the past, like 6 hours, in the very short research I've done on this, I'll start with, I don't think this is the earliest from what I found, but foot binding. Foot binding in China was like one of the first actual body modifications, like involving the body, not just like piercing anything, but...
Which is a completely barbaric practice too.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it only stopped like last century.
Which is insane.
Or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like early in the 20th century. 20th century? Yeah, 20th century.
I think 21st for the last one. Or is that this century?
I think
don't
it's
fucking know.
this
20th century, somewhere in there.
Yeah, we're in the 21st century.
Yeah,
and that was the 20th century.
There we go.
It makes sense, 2000, yeah, 20th century. But, so they would just bind the feet of like, I think the ages were like 4 to 11
I remember
year
being
old.
very young.
Yeah, very young girls all across China, starting with the Song Dynasty is what I believe. Not what I believe, what I read. Correct me if I'm wrong if you know. But, so they'd bind their feet so they were better dancers. They'd be more attractive to the men over there because for some reason they love small feet. Kind of disturbing if you ask me.
Yeah.
But, especially if you like small feet, but when you take it off, it's like, looks like a legit stiletto high heel. The way it's shaped a little bit.
I was gonna say that was the thing that when I was reading up on this, and again I haven't thought about this in a long time. Honestly, I don't even remember where I started looking this up at. But when I said it was a barbaric practice, it's because from what I remember is like some of the feet would actually get so deformed where like the toes and everything would get pushed up underneath.
It'd look exactly like a high heel.
Oh,
it'd be twisted and mangled.
That's so disgusting. That's why it doesn't make any sense why people would be attracted to that. And you know, it's not me trying to be culturally ignorant or nothing like that, but that does fringe on the barbaric of just it'd be such total distortion where you know that they're in pain. That would clearly bring you pain. So, I mean, I guess I don't understand it from that perspective, but I don't know. Well, I don't come from that world either. And we're completely detached from it.
Second gauge down.
Damn.
I've started my gauging journey. finally.
Which, staying in the conversation of like body modifications, like I said, I had gone through some research a long time ago, and I know one of the most, I would almost say disturbing, but not really disturbing, because it is really cool at the same time, is the lip plates. The lip plates are so insane. I can't say where exactly that is that they do that, but I know certain people that would get the lip plates, and they're like wooden plates that, just like gauges, they'd go from small over time to get up to really big lip plates.
Like
and
this.
Yeah.
I also saw pictures of those when I was doing my light bit of research, and it's just crazy. I didn't look into why. I just kind of glazed by that one, but I was wondering if we get to that culture, and I actually did research on that culture, just not the lip plates. But in Africa was even before the Chinese with body modifications, because they were the first ones to start doing tattoos. It was for tribal affiliation. Tribal affiliation, for your own personality. It would, like, if you liked birds, had like a prehistoric bird tattooed on you or whatever. And it was basically their personality tattooed on them. And they would also get like cultural achievements tattooed for them. But the oldest one, it was also used in medicine. Because they thought putting certain markings, or like the ink or the scarification of the body, would have healing properties. And they would scar them, right? And then they would rub ash in so it would irritate it and make it pop out more. So you see, like, the African people with like the scar looks on their face, it's from that type of shit.
I was gonna say that was gonna be the next thing I brought up, was the scarring. I've seen many different scarring tattoos, and again, at first look, it's disturbing almost, but then you really dive into the history behind it and the purpose and why they do it. It's very interesting, honestly.
It really is.
And honestly, I think it looks really cool.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
It's nothing I would have the dedication, or I wouldn't want to do it to myself personally, but I don't come from that where it's a cultural thing also. But I do find it very cool. It's very intriguing to look at.
Did you hear about that guy who loved body modification so much he turned himself into an alien?
I've seen somebody like that. I thought he was like a lizard guy, but
there was a lizard guy.
Okay, so I'm thinking of a different person.
I would say this dude had all blackout tattoos.
Oh wow!
And he like he got body modifications that have like head, like shit implanted in his head.
Oh wow!
So like kind of oblonged it. It had like spikes on top and shit. He tattooed his eyes. He fucking cut off the tip of his nose.
Oh wow, that's insane.
And his upper lip.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, to make himself look more alien.
Damn, that is
I'll have
crazy.
to show you pictures.
I wonder if does he make money off of his likeness? Or?
I don't know. I think he does. I think he's like a model or something now because of how he looks. But then we go back into the lizard man who, got scales all over his body. And he snipped his tongue like all the way up so he could move it biphasally. And
which is crazy.
It really
cool,
is.
Crazy cool, not crazy bad, crazy cool.
Oh, it is.
Insane.
I can't talk. It's extremely cool. And then there's, you just go in the Guinness Book of World Records for people with most piercings. It's like every fucking thing. It's all over. Like there's 100 rings on their bottom lips and shit like that.
And there's a level of dedication that you just have to respect with that. But for me personally, I like with what you've got, you don't have too many, so I don't feel like you can infringe too much. But I feel like that would be up to the point where it would be literally like fringing upon your daily behavior.
Dude, the pictures I saw were like people with metal lips because they had so many. They did it all on their eyebrow. Their fucking ear was like every single space it could.
I couldn't personally do that.
And dude had push pins too.
Wow! So he's literally just addicted to like that feeling of that piercing. That's insane. That is crazy. That's awesome though. It is. There's, like I said, a dedication to it, truthfully. And going back, you were talking about the alien guy, like doing certain modifications to his skull and everything. That was another ancient practice also. And again, I can't remember exactly where this was at, but there was two different places that I can think of. One, they would use boards to like flatten parts of their heads, and to give it that elongated type look. And then they would also use wrappings as well to elongate skulls.
Seems very like Egyptian or Mayan.
Yeah,
at least like from my basic understanding of like, they find these. You see reports of them finding the alien elongated heads, and not like crystal skull type shit, not like Indiana Jones type shit, but it's like legit skulls, and they're like back of their heads go all the way out to here and shit like that.
It's because it was a very common practice, and I don't know if it was Egyptian or Mayan, but I believe it was one of those cultures around that time.
More of a tribal culture rather than no. I don't even want to say that. Like, I guess back then most people were tribal, but like the more known tribal cultures,
the larger,
do that.
breaching and civilitory. Yeah, like going back into body modifications, another one that I've seen also is like elongating the neck with golden rings.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen those ones? Those ones are pretty cool too. But I believe they also reach a point where like they have to have the rings because the neck is so long that if they didn't have it, they would literally lose the mobility in their neck, which is kind of scary, honestly, I think.
Because I think it just detaches from the spine. I don't know anything about this. Maybe the spine's stretching, but yeah, you get that far up, your fucking neck's like a noodle. But it's one of those things that like if you're willing to live your whole life like that, I respect it. It's like that's dedication to your fucking art.
Exactly.
Or not your art, your heritage, I guess, in that respect.
Yeah.
But,
no, one of the others that I remember, and we were talking like tattoos being an ancient practice in Africa as well, and I know it's sprung up all over the world. But one of the oldest, I believe, preserved bodies with tattoos that we have is Otzi the Iceman.
Yes, I was gonna bring that up.
Oh,
too.
nice, awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is really cool, and I've actually thought about getting some of his tattoos just because I think it's so interesting.
You know why I got them, right? Well, what they think?
No.
For medical reasons. Because since when I said in Africa they used it back then too. They thought like it would help ward off spirits or just take the spirit away from his ailment because a lot of it was someone's or a spirit's in his body affecting it, so they'd use tattoos to ward spirits off.
Huh, that is insane actually. That is really
I don't
cool.
know if that's his tribe or just like the African tribes in general, but it's still like pretty cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, it really is. It's really cool.
Since I researched him earlier too, it was like 37 tattoos he had.
Wow, yeah, see that's
But they
crazy.
were all like just lines. And that's why they think it's for medical reasons, because they were just like similar lines all over. So like if his arm hurt, they put like 2 lines. If his leg hurt, for the same reason, they put 2 lines there or some shit like that. I think. I'd have to do more research to be sure, but I think that's what those markings were for particularly.
Yeah, and I was going to say, this is literally like off of 3 years back research that I was doing into this stuff. Like, I find it interesting, but I haven't gotten into it in a while. If I remember correctly, it was lines also, but he had like an X on him somewhere, and that was the one that I was thinking about getting because it's just cool, and I find it awesome personally. And little side note, I believe he also had a bag of fungus on him, and I don't remember exactly what type of mushrooms it was.
I thought it was moss or something like that.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look.
But it might have been mushrooms too.
I believe there were some mushrooms, but I don't remember what it was personally. We'd have to go back and look it up.
We'll touch on that subject next week. We've done a little bit more research into that area.
We're pulling out the foggy areas of our memories, which is typically what we do anyways, but that's alright.
Yeah, so far not like a lot of edit out spots, so not like last week. We were doing pretty bad on that.
Yeah, I would say we're doing pretty good, honestly. Yeah. I'm not talking as much because, like I said, I don't really feel that well. But
you're good though. You're still the one carrying the conversation, though.
I definitely don't agree with that, especially on this one. But
you're adding like the same amount. Like you're giving me information, I'm giving you like.
True, very true. That's a good point. Yeah.
Like I'm bringing the subjects up, but you're also like putting a lot of them into subjects because you've also looked into it. Like you said, you were interested in that shit too at some point.
Oh, definitely, and I just love getting into like ancient practices of any sorts. I mean, even you want to get into like acupuncture and things like that.
I would like to do acupuncture once.
I want to try it. I do.
It's like barely piercing your skin.
Exactly. That's why like I have the fear of needles in general. So I work it up in my head to make it so much more than what it probably realistically is. Even like watching you do that, I'm like, because it is there's an anxiety of needles
yeah.
inside of me, and that's why like acupuncture is kind of scary.
If it makes you feel any better, these weren't piercing anything.
Yeah,
just
no,
kinda, like pushing a little.
Exactly, but
So,
it is the whole thing together.
Yeah.
It's
going
very,
in your skin.
It's
Yeah.
morbidly intriguing for me
Yeah.
in some level, but I do really like it. But
And maybe along the lines later, I'll along with the gauges, I'll put like one up here, something like that.
that'd be cool. Could you
Kinda
do
also-
multiple small gauges? Like, could you get?
I think
two?
I've seen them, but you need some decent ears for that.
Huh, that'd be cool though. Yeah, that is a good idea. I've never thought about that. Or gauging your nose. I think I've seen something like that. I
I'll
wouldn't.
never do it.
I wouldn't do it. No way. But
One thing, like, it's not for me. More power if you want to gauge your nose. I'm not even gonna talk shit about it really. But the ones that freak me out are the ones that gauge their cheeks.
oh no. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean that's awesome if you do it, but wow.
I watched a video a while ago of this dude like eating a sucker or whatever, and he would stick it in his cheek and do it like that. It's so weird.
Wow,
dude.
that's
so
cool.
Weird.
That is so
I'll
awesome.
have to show you that video too.
That's so cool though.
But on the subject of, oh wait, you have something else?
No, I'm just
I'm-
nodding my head.
On the subject of body modification, what about the more unnatural kind?
Like what do you mean?
CRISPR.
Oh, we're getting into like genetic mutation
Yeah.
and things along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, genetic modification rather than body modification, which kind of is the same thing in a way. But the thing is with these, at least over in the United States and a lot of the more democratic societies, democracy, but a lot of the more democratic societies, they have like the freedom to go pierce whenever they want. And I think it's, I don't know whose culture it's more a part of. I think it's, don't attack me for this, but I think it's the Hispanic culture that like gets their daughter's ears pierced really young, like around toddler age and shit. But that could be a lot of other cultures too. I've just seen it mostly on like the Hispanic culture.
Oh, so I don't even know, honestly.
So many parents will get their young daughter's ears pierced when they're around toddler age. And the problem with that is a lot of times it's not by a professional piercer. And you're going to like Claire's or some shit at the mall and you're getting this piercing gun. It's the worst thing you can do. If you ever want to get your ears pierced, don't go to Claire's, don't go to Walmart. Go to a professional piercer because that gun is basically just like a fucking stamper. You're popping that skin out basically, or force separating it.
Like a punch.
Exactly, it's exactly like a paper punch, basically. But yeah, it's just the needle or the stud of that is just like, it's rounded. Like if you look at both of them under a microscope, you can tell without a microscope. Just look at them. But one is like an actual needle and the other is just like a ball on the other end. And it's just being shoved through.
Which, I brought that up earlier, and honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I must have seen it on, like, a post that you personally had made. I'm almost positive, because you bring up, like, Claire's, and I've never been to that place. I have no idea what it is, but I remember that from whatever I'd seen. So I'm almost positive that I had to have seen it on one of your posts. But it is crazy to think about like that. Like, that in itself is barbaric.
Yeah.
Why the fuck wouldn't they update the gun?
Exactly.
That doesn't even make sense.
It's like, they could put the needle in that gun. They don't have to, like, force that fucker. They can make a new model by now.
Exactly.
It's much safer. I don't know if it's necessarily safer for children. I don't know, like, if their skin isn't as tough, you know what I mean? So it's easier for them to have it done. But, yeah, like I said, I'm not 100% sure.
I don't even know personally if I would want my kids to get it done that young. I mean, I'm sure it is easier in some sense for the growth and everything. But
Yeah.
I don't know if personally, it seems, again, I'm overusing this word today, but
Barbaric.
Barbaric,
Yeah.
it does, in a sense. It's really gruesome to think about. It's almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? When you cut the tip of your dick off.
Castration?
No. When you're a child. Circumcision. I couldn't think of it. I'm sorry. I'm just out of it today. But yeah, like getting circumcised, like you think about it, that's so gruesome
It really is.
to do to a child, but it really is the best time because I wouldn't want to have it done now.
Isn't it healthier too?
Honestly, I don't really know.
I mean, I guess it depends, you know, how often you clean down there and shit like that. Because, you know, you see the memes about the cheese.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ugh, ugh.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, but so that's what I mean. Like I understand why they do it at a young age because there's no way in fuck I want that done now. But it is very gruesome and horrifying to think about. You know, I don't think I could watch my kid getting this circumcision done.
No,
Like that'd be
like a brie
oh that'd be
for
so.
what's it, Jewish children? That's a brie for them, or a bris. A bris.
I don't know.
Yeah, I learned that from South Park.
Oh nice, hell yeah! Thanks, South Park.
Yeah, thank you, Matt and Trey.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Make fun of us.
Very much. Please, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, we're that big.
Yeah. 16 subscribers.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, they're coming for us. No.
Oh yeah. I'll do that. Like I said in the first one, that's like a dream of mine.
Same.
Made fun of by
Same.
them.
And I like how you brought up that you'd learned that from South Park because
Yeah.
truthfully, I've learned a lot of stuff from Family Guy, South Park, and American Dad. Like, as stupid as that sounds, and it's just like casual references they throw out.
Exactly.
But if you like look into what they're getting at, you can really discover a lot of like cultural phenomena and just random things in general.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, I asked my dad if he remembered the commercial they were showing, and it was an episode of Family Guy where Peter fights Vladimir Putin.
Oh wow, yeah.
Putin.
My counterpart.
Yeah. But so they showed like the commercial for this commercial, right, where everyone was at like a fancy diner, and it was like a preserve type thing of like it's kind of like a jelly, but it's not jelly. But
Actually,
all fruit.
Okay.
It's all fruit. It's kind of just like mashed fruit. It doesn't have like sugar, I don't think, in it.
Sounds disgusting.
I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research into it. I'm just trying to remember what I saw. But yeah, they made a reference to it a couple times in the show, and it's like I asked my dad if he remembered that commercial or if it was real, if they actually made one for the show. He says no, he remembers it from like the 80s.
Oh wow, see that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah, so because it's like they expect a lot of the adults to be watching Family Guy more when a lot of times a lot of like young teenagers are watching it, so they had a segment in there where they explained where they got that joke from and shit.
Oh wow, yeah. See
Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah. But it is true, like you just wouldn't know, because my parents will even say stuff like that if I'm watching like an episode of Family Guy with them and be like, oh, you even get that? I'm like, no, I mean it was funny in the context, I had no fucking clue what it's talking about, really. You know,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
On the deeper level, but that's the beauty of Family Guy, because even, I mean I guess it's debatable if it's good to let your children watch Family Guy, but I was watching it when I was a really young age, and I don't know, I learned quite a bit, but there's enough, like it is family entertainment, because as a kid you have no idea what they're talking about, but it's still funny, you can like imitate, you know, everybody else laughing in the room while they're watching it as well, and you know, I feel like there's different levels of humor as you evolve.
It's funny how much that shapes who you are when you're older, though, because you know the shows your parents watch. It's the shows you grew up watching, it's the shows you remember, and it's the shows that kind of shape your character in a way. Kind of like if you're in the car with your dad and he like puts on like Dio or Pink Floyd or some shit like that. And you're
Sing
like,
Red by Chevelle.
Oh yeah.
Sing Red again.
But yeah, it's just like that. Like you, as much as like a lot of people wouldn't want to admit it, if you know, you had your parents as a constant part in your life, you're going to adopt features of them, whether you like those features or not. But I love the features I got from my parents, the fact that I fucking love metal.
Yeah,
like,
that's a great...
My dad got me into, like, early rock, and that slowly progressed into, like, you know, a little bit of heavy rock, like Metallica, and then it progressed into, like, Korn. Then there's Slipknot, and then I'm like into Meshuggah now. So.
And I love how you say that, because I definitely give my parents credit for my foundational music, my taste in music, where everything originated. But I'm gonna have to call them out and say I've completely surpassed them. I know way more music than what they do now, but they gave me the start. They gave me the tools to run with, and you know I really cherish that, because my parents got me like. My most fundamental bands that I really love, like in the depths of my core, come from my parents, you know.
Exactly.
And then
the songs you can listen to over and over again and just think about your childhood, man. Like it's all, it's really all it is a nostalgia feeling for like when you were with your parents, and then like you hear that song and it's like, oh, I remember this certain car ride or this certain time in my life.
It's kind of funny. We'll have to bring my brother on the podcast sometime, but we
It'd
have
be a car episode.
yeah, no shit. It would be entirely. Yeah, that's funny. But one thing that we always reference, we call them bathtub songs, because my parents had like a select like bunch of CDs that we would listen to every time they'd give us baths as children, and like Don't Know by Queens of the Stone Age, or just that whole album by Queens of the Stone Age, White Stripes, Nirvana, you know, like that really like
grunge.
Yeah, grunge,
music.
that like early late 90s up through the 2000s era of rock and roll. Like that's what I think of when I think of bathtub songs. Like every time I hear the opening chords of Don't Know by fucking Queens of the Stone Age, I instantly think of taking a bath, which is so weird, but it's, you know, it's one of those synapses. It's just, there's a connection inside your brain.
Fucking neurons start firing in like 30 different directions, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember your childhood.
It's like nostalgia, like,
Exactly.
instantly. Yeah, it's so funny. And even now, it's funny. Like you know how your musical tastes progress in certain ways, and like I'll hear certain songs and it throws me back to a particular point in time, and I'm only fucking 20. You know what I mean? And I'm already having these little like pockets of nostalgia for particular songs that over a certain amount of time, like this is what I was exposed to then, and it can throw you back into that moment. And I'm excited to see how that goes in another 40 years. Then it'll probably be overwhelming nostalgia.
Honestly, like, everyone, like today, like if you're around 20 years old or something like that, you're gonna be that dude that's like, oh, today's music is trash. Like when you're in your 40s or 50s, you're just gonna be like, how do you listen to that garbage? But realize right now you're one of those people. Like you're in that sense, we all turn into our parents, because you know, a lot of times older people don't like the music you listen to, but you also don't like the music they listened to prior. Sometimes like you have people like me that like, you know, Pink Floyd and shit like that. I'm not a fan of Beatles. You can attack me all you want.
I will attack you over that. You're a terrible, despicable human being. I would burn you with a stake for saying something like that. You need to be crucified.
I appreciate them. Like, they have a few good songs. It's just never anything I'd buy a CD of. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No,
it wasn't the era I grew up in.
Oh, yeah. No,
I mean, neither was Pink Floyd, but my dad wasn't even, like, into that type of shit, Beatles, rock.
Oh, yeah. And I'm just completely kidding. I mean, everybody has their own taste for what they're going for, but it's like me and 80s rock. I mean, there's bands from the 80s that I absolutely adore. There's certain little direct places of the 80s that I really like, but as a whole, it's not my category of music.
And I have to have that appreciation for the Beatles, because they're basically the founders of metal. Not like, you know, hard metal like, you know, Meshuggah, or fucking Flesh God Apocalypse. Yeah, I just bought a new CD. It's good.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, you'll have to. But they're nothing like that. But they were the ones that, you know, were getting the electric guitars out. They were the ones that were playing some really interesting songs like Helter Skelter, or writing really progressive songs like Lucy in the Sky with Diamond. You're the one that showed me that song.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
But,
yeah. And there was a huge transition point. I mean, there's multiple different points in the evolution of music itself, but we're going to say just rock and roll for what we're going with, or our real modern day understanding of music. And I mean, you know, actually this kind of ties into something that you also somewhat brought up, and we didn't know if I don't think we should completely dive into the whole cultural appreciation thing, but I just want to bring it up really quick with rock music, metal, everything in general. Is, you know, rock and roll itself is completely, it's not necessarily stolen, but morphed into, you know, a very heavily white face type deal, you know. I mean, there were still black musicians like Jimi Hendrix that had quite a lot of fame as well, but like the blues morphed into, you know, white British kids that came over to America. But the real foundation of it is that deep country blues, you know. You got the Robert Johnson influence, Scrapper Blackwell, what's his name, Leadbelly, all of these people from way back when, you know, and they led up the evolutionary course. And then you get to like the 50s rock and roll, which is, you know, the real love songs, lovey-dovey type stuff, which there's a lot of good stuff in there, but there's a lot that I really don't like at the same time. And you get into like surf music, you know, and obviously Elvis. Oh yeah, I actually really love surf music, and I owe that to Chevy also. Chevy really got me into surf music, honestly, like the really good songs. Exactly, I love it, I really do. And like, you know, Elvis, obviously, that we consider the king of rock and roll, and that's the real transition point to rock and roll. But, you know, Elvis is the king, but Chuck Berry is the father.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Chuck Berry is the king of rock and roll, the real, true king, you know what I mean? And then you get into more progressions into the 60s.
Then you get to Ozzy, too.
Exactly, and
like
that's...
in the 80s, 70s.
60s, 60s, yeah. Black Sabbath came out in like 69, I believe.
Wow, I thought it was like 70s.
No, because Black Sabbath is what I consider the fundamental catalyst into metal. Yeah, the real catalyst. Because you had like people getting into that. You had, you know, the Beatles with Helter Skelter and certain other songs. They had some pretty heavy songs. Some of their songs were a little on the heavy. Revolution, I think that's a little later, but still it's a heavier song. You had, you know, Zeppelin when they came out with Zeppelin 1. You know, that's, no matter how you want to look at it, it's not going into the metal category. It's classic rock, but you hear Dazed and Confused, boom, boom, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as that comes out, it's not quite metal, but it's hitting that transitional point where you can see the music getting deeper and darker and like morphing towards that, and then you hit Black Sabbath. Yeah. Black Sabbath is really... Oh, I want to throw in also In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. That was also a transitional song, and that was like 67, 68, I believe, and that was pretty heavy also for back in that time, Iron Butterfly. But then, like I was saying, Black Sabbath is that real transitional point into metal, I think, personally. And that's my era. I really love that. The 60s through 70s, I love that so much. And then, like I said, I do love 80s, you know, you got Metallica, and, you know, I do love certain hair metal bands. As much as I love to diss on them and say I hate them, you know, there's a lot of good songs that came from that era. It's just as a whole, it's not what I'm attracted to.
Like, what's a good hair metal band example? Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses, yeah. Motley Crue, man. Yeah, like, the basics, yeah.
Not to diss on Motley Crue. They were also really good, but, they just wasn't for me. Really.
That's what I'm saying. It's just not.
Shout at the Devil is like the only song I know by them.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still listen to some of their songs. Home Sweet Home, every time that comes
on. Oh, yeah.
Bling, doo, bling, doo, bling. Every time. I gotta listen to it. I do.
Sweet home.
Exactly. So, you know, that last part. What's it say? Goodbye or what? No, I'm on my way. You know,
I'm on my way.
Home sweet home. Yeah, I love that shit. It's solid, but
we're gonna get copyright struck for that.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. I do want to figure out.
We're not making money.
Yeah, exactly. And I do want to figure out what we can play, because I really feel like if we could put in some of these songs, like my favorite songs, your favorite songs, it would bring out a whole nother dimension of the podcast.
I mean, we just can't expect to get money from them. So, like, in the early episodes, we really could do it.
Oh, that makes sense. The ones that we're not really going to be getting views on in the first place. Oh, exactly. We almost could do that, yeah. Send, like, Alex a list of songs for openers and shit like that. Because I would love to have one of our fucking videos start off with Dazed and Confused. Just that beginning guitar riff.
I don't think we can use it like that, though.
Really?
Because then it would technically be our creative property we're trying to pass it off as. But I think we could review or show music. I think.
Oh, we should definitely do that. I agree. I don't know if we should do reviews right on the podcast itself, but I do want to do review videos. Like we said, we could put it in the playlist or something. Because I definitely want to like review and react to different songs. You know, songs that we love to spread, songs that people may or may not know of, and then new songs as well. Because I'm fairly ignorant towards new music, honestly. I mean, I have my fair share, but not a lot.
I'm gonna just keep this stuff here because like I said, I want to size up again next week probably.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
I'll save those here.
No worries. I'll go over there.
Yeah. I forget what we were talking about. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Honestly, we're not really going anywhere. We're kind of just talking about a little bit of everything right now. I'm enjoying where we're going at. This actually turned out surprisingly better than I thought it was going to go.
You were scared about that?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't really anticipating it today. Honestly, we were going to call it off and not even do this one today, but thankfully you talked me into it because...
I just asked you if you were feeling like up to it. Like you were more scared about being contagious, I think.
Yeah, so, well, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then I was just like... if you've been sick for a couple days, the contagious part's likely already over.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're sharing drinks or anything.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Which
like you're talking at me, but it's like you're not coughing at me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like very subtle particle movement.
Mm-hmm.
At least I'm not a scientist.
Not at all.
Don't listen to me.
Hopefully one day we will be. Would that be
I don't
cool?
want to be a scientist.
I kind of do.
I want to know about science, but I don't want to study science.
I don't know what the fuck I want to be, but scientists would be cool though.
Yeah.
There's definitely areas that I would like to go down.
Be a botanist.
Mm-hmm.
Study plants.
Yeah, that'd be cool, honestly, or chemist. Or I don't
Start
know.
growing our own some of these.
Exactly, that would be cool. We could be mycologists.
Fuck yeah.
Good, that'd be awesome. I definitely think about it. The only reason I really want to go to college, and it's kind of pathetic, it's like an affirmation to, or a, how to put it, I don't know, I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but I feel like I'll never be taken seriously in any sort of academic sense unless I like graduate with a degree.
Yeah, a degree of some sort, but it shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't.
What I mean?
I know, because I mean you can be an autodidact is what it's called. It's, I mean the guy that wrote the freaking what's it called? I don't know. One of the first real dictionary in the world, I want to say. The Oxford English Dictionary.
Oh, okay.
One of the guys that started that, the real project of the Oxford English Dictionary was just he was an autodidact. He completely taught himself everything. That's what it means. Then in time, he ended up getting a degree, an honorary degree from the people. And it's actually really interesting. I didn't even plan on going down this route, but now that it's been brought up, might as well talk about it. So I discovered... we have a local bookstore around here called Lowry's Bookstore. Shout out to them. I've gotten a lot of really good books from them.
Hell yeah, I have too.
And support your local bookstores instead of giant corporations. They need to eat too. But I was just going through like their random like markdown sections, and I came across this book called The Professor and the Madman, and I was like, wow, that's a cool title for a book. You know what I mean? Instantly drew my attention.
I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember though.
Well, see, it's a book, but then they also made it into a movie on Netflix. I'd never finished the book because I get too distracted very easily, and I'd gotten like halfway through it and just put it down. But there's the movie on Netflix that's got Sean Penn in it as well. And as I was saying, the one guy pretty much self-taught himself everything, and he was taking on this huge, ambitious project to mark down every word in the English language, over the span of history, where the word came from, how it evolved, the meaning for everything, and collecting it into a giant tome. And I think they got through like quite a lot before they died, but they put out, because they didn't realize how big of a project it was when they first took it. And so once they started to realize like how much progress they weren't making towards what they thought they would be, they put out into the general public asking people to send in certain definitions for certain things. And this guy that was... he was at one point in time in the American military for something, and then like over time the trauma and everything got to him, and I believe he must have had some type of schizophrenic tendency, and it developed into harder stages once he got older, and he was institutionalized somewhere over in Britain at this point in time, and he came across this, so he started sending like a whole bunch of different words with his definitions and things like this.
Okay.
That guy that was self-taught, he was like, well, I need to contact this guy. He helped him on so much. I think at that point he literally got like a quarter of what they developed came from this guy, and they had no idea who he was. So he tracked him down, and he found him in this, I guess, I don't know what mental health facility now you would consider it, but an asylum back then is essentially what it was. And so he was going and visiting with this guy, and then at one point in time, once it was getting up there, and they were talking about like Oxford was publishing certain things about it, and they didn't want to give that guy credit because they thought it would look bad on the reputation having somebody that was locked up in an asylum. They didn't want to give him credit for that. So the guy that started the project, the guy that was self-taught, completely like fought back towards Oxford because that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like he literally did so much work to help them out with that, and then they finally recognized that and put his name on it.
That's
and
good.
They wrote the book about it and everything.
It's crazy to think that like half of what we know, or more than half probably of what we know about our language was thought of by someone in an insane asylum or a mental asylum. It's crazy to think about that.
It's absolutely insane, and it's so awesome. Oh, he was a doctor too. That was the other part of it. Yeah, he was a surgeon in the war. That was part of it also. So he was... Maybe
it was PTSD then, they just didn't know how to treat it.
I believe, there was definitely parts of it. Like some of his schizophrenic delusions were influenced by the PTSD of the certain things that he'd done during the war. That was reoccurring in the movie and book also.
So let this be you a lesson. If you are a doctor who goes crazy from being in war, you can be one of the most important people's alive.
Yeah, goals, man.
Hell yeah.
That's something I want to get to, but like a second edition of the Oxford English Dictionary for like a complete set is like $1,000, and I mean I could probably spend my stimmy on it, but
why would you?
hey, I would 100%. I would have no regrets about it. I really wouldn't.
I can see it.
But I have to buy a vehicle, unfortunately, so
Yeah.
can't do that this round, but next year maybe. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
But
Maybe with them dividends.
yeah, with them dividends, boys, we'll
Fucking
see.
dividends,
We'll see.
bro.
Let's see if we can get them up to $48 this
Hell
year.
yeah,
hopefully.
brother. Hell yeah.
Random little tangent. I don't know what we were talking about before that, but
Stuff, man.
Yeah.
We had a few solid subjects, so I think Alex could figure out the title from the basic topics, but you don't have to put this last part in, just put ramblings or something in the title.
And so far, Alex, I'm loving the titles too. I actually get a kick out of them.
Yeah, I do too.
Like,
They're fucking great.
The last one, Licking Toads.
Question mark.
I laughed so hard. That's perfect.
Licking toads?
Yeah.
Just so like the general public knows, we don't really tell our lovely editor Alex what the subjects are going to be, so it's kind of a sweet surprise to him every Thursday when he starts editing. So I always get a kick out of getting messages from him on Thursdays because he's either laughing at certain tangents where we're talking to him or some shit, or he'll make those titles and shit like that. It's great.
That's hilarious, yeah. But yeah, do you have anything else you want to ponder into for the day? I guess I have something really quick. We'll just throw it out there. I've done no research on this at all. I came across an article on Facebook and it brought something to my attention. I thought it was really cool. I'm clearly not a physicist or educated in any sense, but I found out that glass is a liquid. At a molecular level, glass is a liquid, which I never knew. I thought that was so cool. So yeah, it's essentially what it is like water, for example, when it goes from being a liquid to a solid state, the pattern of the molecules arranges itself into a fixed pattern. But when anything's in liquid shape, the pattern of the molecules are completely randomized.
Yeah.
And glass keeps that pattern even as it solidifies. They call it like an amorphous liquid. Or an amorphous solid, one of the two. But I thought that was absolutely insane. I never knew that. And I think I'd sent you something about.
Fucking weird, man.
Isn't it crazy to think about? Yeah. So they're trying to find something they call perfect glass.
I'm looking at it closer, like I'm gonna see the molecules.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to move it just a little bit. 'Cause it's still a liquid, man. Like,
still liquid.
Yeah.
Still liquid.
Yeah. Not
Punctures
necessarily.
my fucking hand.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, I got a new gauge.
Yeah. But they're looking for something they call perfect glass because I guess somehow when they find this thing they call perfect glass, they're going to be able to, I don't know, it's going to develop their understanding of glass and the liquid structure of glass and all this like to the nth degree or something. And the way that they were looking at this is like fossilized amber that was like 100 million years old or something like that. They're trying to see if like the molecule structures itself reveals something. I don't know,
though.
but I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that's weird to think about how glass is a liquid. I mean, like, you know, when it's molten, of course it's liquid because they got to get it up, they got to shape it. They have, you know, glass blowers that can shape it with the pliers. It's a liquid in that sense, but like a solid glass being a liquid still after, like, you know, if you were to break this with your hand, if you had that strength, you would it would just impale the fuck out of you. It wouldn't like drip out of your hand or anything. The only thing that would be dripping out of your hand is blood.
It's blood, exactly. Yeah, and I love the blood and impaling references. Maybe one of these days we'll talk about my namesake.
Hell yeah, bro.
Somewhere down
Hell
there.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was an interesting little fact I never knew about. And also, since we're on the states of matter, there's actually 5 states of matter, not 4. There's liquid, solid, gas, plasma, and the Bose-Einstein concentrate, or condensate, actually. Condensate? I believe so. And there's this thing that Einstein and this other guy theorized about, that there was this 5th state of matter, but we couldn't prove it until like 2 years ago or something like that. And they proved it. Somehow, I don't remember what it was, like taking a plate full of rubidium atoms and shooting a laser at it while it also drops through space so it can reach like absolute zero or some shit like that, and then it forms this like 5th state of matter. Something like that. Again, I have no idea what I'm really talking about, and I should really look it up because I probably sound like a real idiot, but either way, there's 5 states that matters. I know 5 states that matter. I know that much for a fact.
And you've probably learned from this by now. Just because we talk about a certain subject in this episode doesn't mean we won't talk about it next episode. Like when we get more research under our belts for certain topics, we will be bringing a lot of this back up, likely.
And there's also points too where like we might even know more about something, but just being pressured in certain areas, you're not gonna think about it. Like Dan Harmon, for example.
Yeah.
Of course, we both knew who Dan Harmon was, but we just could not bridge that gap at that point.
So, to our first episode, we were trying to think of the other creator of Rick and Morty that wasn't Roiland. Roiland?
Justin Roiland.
Just Roiland. I'm sorry, but. So, we just kind of skimmed over it, didn't really figure it out or look it up because we're trying not to be on our phones during this at all. But, so I'm at work the next day. We'll probably end on this story.
Yeah.
I'm at work the next day, right? And I'm in the cooler, and a coworker, friend of mine, is out on the floor, and, he's listening to it on Spotify. Spotify plug under the same name. Check us out on, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that shit. Anything that Anchor supports, we're probably on. But, anyway. So, God, where was I going with that?
He was coming listening to the podcast, yeah.
Yep, so my buddy at work was listening to the podcast. Hi, Jordan. And, so I'm in the cooler, right, trying to organize shit. And he's out on the floor. And... he say, oh yeah, I'll turn it on and listen to it. About a half hour after he started listening to it or so, I think it was around that time range in the podcast, we were trying to think of that name, and, I'm in the cooler minding my own business. He gets in the back room and he fucking busts through the cooler flaps and he's like, Dan Harmon! And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, the dude you couldn't name on your podcast, Rick and Morty, it's Dan fucking Harmon. And I was like, oh my god, this is great.
That's awesome. I still get such a kick out of that story.
Oh, me too.
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it does, though. It exemplifies the fact that you can't just automatically think of something. You're not always going to have all the facts at your disposal.
Exactly.
There's different perspectives and ways that you look at a particular topic, which if you're not exactly looking at it from that perspective or point of view, then you're just not going to think about that particular detail of the information that you're talking about.
And we would look it up on the laptop first, like as we're talking, but we try and want to keep as much dead space out as possible. So, and it's just harder to do it if it's only on audio on Spotify and those other sites. So you don't want to just see us clicking here. You get a little bit of us smiling, looking at shit. But what do the people on Spotify, any of the audio only platforms get? They get nothing of it.
And in time, I do think if we get more laptops going, so one of us could continue talking while the other one looks up the facts, that way we can straighten that out. Because I do think it would be a lot better to have, obviously we have the laptop right in front of us, but it's a little more difficult from this angle to get in here. And if we had one each, that way we could look something up. Because we don't want to propagate falsehoods. It's going to happen.
Yeah, but it won't be on purpose. We're not trying to stir anything out of anyone. We're just here to chill with you.
Yeah, we're trying to learn for ourselves too, which is the biggest part. I mean, really.
We're here for your entertainment. We're the monkeys in this circus, and it doesn't mean you can throw peanuts at us, but
I mean, you can.
You can.
I'm cool with it.
We do got that Patreon going. So.
Yeah, exactly. Or just if you want to throw food at us in general, I'll take your food.
Make it pizza too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds damn good.
We have to feed our editor.
For sure. Yeah.
How you doing, Alex?
Alex.
But, all right, man. I think that's good.
Yeah, I'd say we covered some good ground today. It was quite exciting. As bad of a start as everything came off as, and as bad as I've been trying to pull my rhythm together, I keep wandering off into certain little areas, and I can't really bring it back to make anything.
I still think it's better than last week's for both of us.
I think we're doing good. Yeah. I do think we're doing good, yeah. I think being sick like I am today, I'm not too over the top and energetic and trying to spit everything out as fast as possible. So I guess that kind of makes it a little more chill, which is helpful. Yeah. But I don't know, we'll see how next week goes. Hopefully we're feeling better, or I'm feeling better next week. And We'll see if we have some amazing new content to bring to you guys.
It probably won't be amazing, but it's content.
Yeah.
So
it's fucking amazing.
I'm stretching my ears again next week to the next size. After that, I'm gonna start taking month increments
Okay.
because good healing process for bigger sizes. I mean, I don't want to go too far and rip my fucking lobe and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be horrible.
I mean, it's fixable a lot. Gunner, he's had it done to him.
Oh, he ripped his lobe?
Oh, he's done it multiple times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't know if it's like ever been separated. I think it has. But yeah.
Fuck.
But yeah.
But yeah, hell yeah. I thought we had a good little run here today. Quite fun. Quite fun. Maybe next time I can be a little more coherent. I hope. We'll see.
We'll fill you up with coffee and energy.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly.
That way your
whiskey.
body will be buzzing.
Yeah. Oh wait, I can't say that. I'm so minor. Not whiskey. Hypothetically whiskey.
Yeah, apple juice.
Yeah, apple juice. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Oh yeah.
This is where we end it.
All right.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, please do. Please
And
do.
share it with all your friends who may or may not find this shit interesting.
And send us all your money.
Hell yeah.
That's a joke.
We'll take it all.
Yeah.
It's a joke, but we will take it.
We'll
if
take
you
it all.
want it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this economy, who can afford?
Yeah, exactly. We're not actually saying send us money. We don't care.
But if you want to,
Yeah.
link to Patreon will be in the subscription.
Hell yeah. But awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And have an amazing night.
Mm-hmm.